past couple of years, J.K. Rowling has been deemed an extremely controversial person simply because she speaks up for women's rights, and love or hate her opinions, she is the reason Harry Potter exists. But there are always going to be people who think that she shouldn't be affiliated with this property anymore and that she should give it all up. Just a few years ago, we heard that Emma Watson was willing to return to the Harry Potter verse if J.K. abandoned her franchise, and now we're seeing articles being written by TheMarySue feminists saying this new series has some great casting if they could only rid the series of J.K. Rowling. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I always think situations like this are so pathetic yet also hilarious because if the people complaining about J.K. Rowling had a singular creative bone in their body, they could try to create something that would rival Rowling's Potterverse. They could actually try to make something that millions and billions of people would love the way they love Harry Potter, but they can't. And so what they do is they make demands that, oh, JK should give up her franchise and she shouldn't be affiliated with it anymore. And, oh, she's already made her money from it, so she should put it into the hands of someone else, less controversial, who actually likes the property, which is insane. Now, I will never agree with everything J.K. Rowling has ever said or done, but at the end of the day, a creator should not be forced out of their own property. They should not be forced to give up the rights they have to the thing that they made. That is a disgusting demand to make, at least in my opinion, and I don't disagree with everything J.K. Rowling's said either. She has been very vocal online over the past couple of years, standing up for women's rights. She is a feminist at the heart and soul of who she is, and she's been labeled things like a TERF because of that. Though, of course, Harry Potter has not dwindled in popularity. It's only gained popularity. Look at how much money something like Hogwarts Legacy made. And everybody's talking about this brand new series and the casting. And now we have TheMarySue saying that, if she wasn't a part of this, I might actually be excited. It just goes to show that these people never actually loved or cared about Harry Potter. They only care about being able to write these articles. So it says casting is underway for the new Harry Potter series that Warner Bros. Is moving forward with. If only J.K. Rowling's name was not continually attached to the project. News broke that the series found their Dumbledore, McGonagall, Hagrid, Snape. I do think that most of these castings are actually pretty good. The one that I, of course, disagree with is Snape, because Snape was described very particularly within the books. I feel like they should have cast somebody who actually looked more similar to Alan Rickman. I think it's also very questionable about the narrative that is going to be pushed within this, because basically all of the kids feel uncomfortable around Snape and constantly look at Snape, and when something goes wrong or they get in trouble, they go, it must be Snape. So I have a feeling that a racism narrative is going to come into play there. I genuinely hope not, and I genuinely hope that they simply pick this actor because he really is the best for the job and he will do a fantastic job. Though I feel like because the movies really didn't get done that long ago, it's going to be hard to top all of those amazing performances. And I'll forever look at Snape or think of Snape and instantly see, Alan Rickman's face, all of these other iconic roles and characters and actors, but it has faced controversy because of that. Though there's always going to be controversy surrounding anything Potter because of J.K. Rowling, a woman who dares to have her own opinion. There have been rumors about Lithgow, Frost, and Asadu's casting, but McTeer was news to me. Clearly, this person did not actually pay attention to social media talk about this over the past 2 months, because when we heard the rumor that Lithgow and Asadu were going to be a part of this, McTeer's name was also popping up. I think that she is going to be a really good casting, but it says some of the casting could work, but I don't trust this show. It says there are characters that the Papa Asadu casting could have made a statement with if done the right way. Instead, casting him as Snape leaves more questions about what they'll do with the characters than general excitement out of the gate, especially given Snape's more devious parts. Yeah, Snape is not a good character. He is not a hero for, the majority of the books and the content, right? I mean, he had these underlying reasons as to the moves that he was making. And by the end, you felt for Snape and you understood Snape's character, but it took a lot of books and a lot of content to get there. And so it says, though, with every new bit of news that I want to engage with, I am reminded that J.K. Rowling still has her hands all over this show. I'm reminded of this, and even if this series is just inspired by her works and they try to separate themselves as much as possible from her, Rowling still gets money because she's still that attached to the Harry Potter franchise. Yeah, no fucking shit, Sherlock. I mean, you really cracked the code there. It's her creation. This was the same tired narrative that they were pushing about Hogwarts Legacy, that, oh, even though she's not a developer or a writer, and all she really did was sign her name on the dotted line so it could get made, there were journos who were demanding people boycott Hogwarts Legacy because JK's name was attached to it. Now, obviously, that was an epic failure, as we found out just a couple of months ago, that Hogwarts Legacy had hit 30 million copies sold. I absolutely love the game. I know so many other people did too. It was close to being my game of the year in 2023. It wasn't quite. I still think Final Fantasy 16 was slightly better, but Hogwarts Legacy was still really great for Potter fans and even people who didn't know much about the franchise. And, well, their boycott epically failed. And when it comes to this TV series, I'm sure it's going to be wildly popular. I'm not under the delusion that, oh my God, just because they did one casting people don't like, that it's going to fail out of the gate. That's clearly not going to happen. But I do think that if the kind of main castings, besides what's already been announced, like Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Malfoy, if those castings are bad, this is going to be surrounded in even more controversy. And I really hope that they do a good job, but there's a lot of question marks at this point in time. But boycotting Harry Potter content is extremely difficult, and I completely understand why. So many kids grow up reading these books, and then they watch the movies, and they consume this content, and then they have like this deep-seated love for it. And again, I always say this, it is hard to separate the art from the artist for a lot of people. But ultimately, right? J.K. Rowling's a human being who can have her own opinion, whether you agree or disagree, and you can still enjoy her content. I say this about people within the gaming industry all the time. Sweet Baby Ink games, right? I still play a lot of them because I am talking about them and I want to give them a fair chance. Anybody from any political side or political movement, anybody with any sort of different opinions can create amazing content, even if I do not agree with them and their personal opinions. The problem really kind of festers and bubbles up when they put their political narratives into the content that they are creating, and they're hammering you over the head with a narrative, which JK never really did. And of course, she's not writing any more Harry Potter books at this point in time, so it's kind of over. It's not like that's going to happen. It says, though, in recent years, Rowling has used her platform to continually attack the trans community and share misinformation about trans people. And so every time this show announces anything, I'm reminded that she is still a major part of this production. It's just like with Hogwarts Legacy, she's not doing anything specific for this show except for signing off on it. She is technically an executive producer, but we haven't heard of any choices that she's made or any decisions that have happened on her part. They said the same thing with George R.R. Martin for the entirety of Game of Thrones, and then the last 3 seasons happened, and he came out years later and was like, yeah, I basically did nothing except for shook hands with the cast, took a few pictures on set, and that was the extent of my of my time with the production. So I bet it's going to be something similar, but this is not a brand new narrative, right? Just 2 years ago, Emma Watson had reportedly said that she would love to return to Harry Potter and the Potterverse if J.K. Rowling wasn't involved, which is so disgusting in my opinion, because the reason why you got mega popular was because of Harry Potter. Let's not fool ourselves. Yes, she is a very pretty woman and she can act, and she's been in a lot of things makes sense, but Harry Potter was the reason why she got this kind of kickstart in Hollywood. She would not be the size that she is today. But instead of just being grateful or simply saying, yeah, I do not agree with JK, but it is what it is, she has also demanded that JK no longer be a part of her own franchise, which is just absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. And I'm sure that we're going to see so many hit pieces surrounding the new HBO series simply because of JK's name being attached to it, not the question marks about the castings or some of the narratives that might be pushed in it. No, no, no. They simply care that JK has created this franchise, and so they think that she should just give it up, which is crazy, in my opinion. So I'll be keeping my eye on the Mary Sue and similar feminist led outlets and social media to see the kind of outrage that they spew specifically about JK. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.